Hi, everybody. Welcome back. And man, we have a big one for you here today. It's April 30th, 1949. The Pittsburgh Pirates come into this game 10-0. They have already set the record for the most consecutive wins in a season, at least the 1949 record. And the question is whether they can keep this one going or not. Starting for the Reds is going to be Johnny Vandermeer, and it took me a little while to think about who I wanted to start for Cincinnati. And I decided to go ahead and go with Vandermeer, even though I know he hasn't been pitching all that well lately. Here he is against Wally Junic, 1-1 the count on Junic, and there's a ground ball over to Stolk up at shortstop, makes the play to first base for the first out, up as Wally Westlake now takes a strike. That one's lined into center field, falls in front of Merriman for a base hit, and here comes Ralph Kiner, and everybody's scared of him. 7 home runs so far in the month of April, man. And we have a 2-0 count here on Ralph. And there's a strike 2-1 now. And there's one fouled off the thumbs, 2-2 now the count on Kiner. And he swings and misses on an off-speed pitch and is gone. Here comes Pete Castiglione. And that's why you got to work on those off-speed pitches, right? 1-0 now the count on Pete. 2-0 now is the count on him. And there's a swing and ground ball over to Stolk up the middle, and he flips it the short way over to Bloodworth for the out, and we go to the bottom of the first inning. Rip Sewell is the starter for the Pirates, and it took me a while to figure out who I was going to start in this game for Pittsburgh. 0-2 now the count on Bloodworth, and he swings on and misses, and that's the first strikeout of the game for Sewell. It took me a while to figure this out because the Pirates had a number of guys who could start, but the question is, who do you want to start? Lidweiler now 0-2 count on him. He grounds out one over to Pascal at second base for the second out. Here is Kluszewski, and he hits a little fly ball over to Judnich in center field for the third out. Go to the top of the second inning. Here's Clyde McCulloch. Takes a strike, 0-1 the count on him. Now it's 1-1. And there's a strike by Vandermeer, 1-2 the count now. That one's in and tied for a ball, 2-2. And there's one popped up to Merriman in center field for the first out. And here now is Monty Pascal, who takes a ball. And there's another one inside, 2-0 the count on Monty. And he hits a little ground ball over to Bloodworth at second base, flips over to Kluszewski for the out. And there's the second out. Bachman now 0-2 is the count on him. And he lays off a fastball low, 1-2 now. There's a ground ball over to Hatton, and he gets his man at first base for the out. So we go to the bottom of the second inning, and here is Grady Hatton, third baseman, takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 1-1 now the count. First ball of the game from Rip Sewell. Probably the right idea to start him. 1-2 the count now. Now it's 2-2. And there's a ground ball over to the right side. Pascal cannot run that one down. That's the first base hit of the game for Cincinnati. Here is Stolk, and he hits a little excuse me single over to center field that just happens to bounce in front of Judnich. We're not going to do anything hasty with that. Here comes Johnny Wirostek now with runners in first and second. Poor bunter, which is a problem in this situation, and he has a 1-1 count on him. That one's hit past the pitcher and on over to center field for a single. And we are going to send both runners, and let's see what happens. Here comes a throw to third base, and Stolk is safe, and Hatton scores, and it is 1-0 Cincinnati here early. And it's always important. You might not think that it's important this early, but you never know what's going to happen in one of these ball games. It's always important to get that first run across, especially when you're playing against a team like the Pirates who haven't lost yet, and they've had plenty of chances to lose. Wirostek getting the big base hit, getting the big RBI. There's how many outs? Nobody out here, and we have runners in first and third, and this might turn into a big inning. Here comes Ray Mueller, and we're going to do a little hit and run and see what happens. Wirostek takes off. No chance to get him, and as there's a ground ball to second base, and we are going to have Stolk go for home. Pascal throws over to first base for the easy out, and that is another RBI for this time for Ray Mueller, and double play has been avoided, and Wirostek's at second base, and it's 2-0 Reds just like that. And hey, maybe this will be a very quick and simple and easy game, and we're not going to have any sort of crazy comebacks like we've had in the past. Maybe we're going to get out of this one quickly and simply and easily, and there won't be a lot of extra work for me to do to write this up. What do you think, huh? Here's Lloyd Merriman, and let's see if he can get a home run, and let's put this one aside. Rip Sewell gets a strike, and 0-1 now the count. There's one that misses inside. 1-1 now the count. Now it's 2-1. Slider just below the letters 2-2 now, and there's a full count as that one just missed, and there's another one that misses, and Rip Sewell has given up his first walk of the game. Here is Johnny Vandermeer, who swings and misses the first pitch, and there's a little bouncer over to Pascal, flips over to Castiglione for one, and they throw back over to Hop at first base for the double play. We go to the top of the third inning. Here is Hop, and there's one that hops just below his knee. 1-0 the count. Now it's 1-1. And there's a ground ball over to Bloodworth at second base. Makes the play at first for the out. One away. Here's Rip Sewell. There's a ground ball to Hatton at third base. Makes the play to first. And that's 2 away. Here's Wally Judnich now. And 1-1 the count is on Wally. Now it's 1-2. That one was fouled back. 2-2 now the count. and there's a ground ball that goes up the middle for a base hit. So that brings up Wally Westlake now. And these Pirates always have the opportunity to come back. He hits one over on an 0-1 pitch over to right field where Litweiler's under it, and he makes the catch, and that does it. We go to the bottom of the third inning. And Sewell misses with the fastball there in the first pitch. Another one is wide, 2-0 now the count. There's one fouled straight back, 2-1 is the count on Bloodworth, and that's one that's foul out of play. And Sewell then misses again, and Bloodworth then chases what would have been ball 4, hits it over to Pascal for the first out. And here comes Danny Litweiler, 2-0 Reds, bottom of the third inning, and it's a 1-1 count on Litweiler. Fouls one off. Now the count's 1-2, and there's a ground ball over to Pascal at second base, makes the play to first base for the second out. And here is Ted Kluszewski now, 1-0 the count on him, and there's a little ground ball over to Castiglione, who makes the plays. Everybody in the infield gets to touch the ball in that inning, and we have Ralph Kiner to lead things off in the top of the fourth inning for the Pirates. 1-1 is the count on Ralph. And there's one high to him, 2-1. That one was low, 3-1. Are they going to walk him? Nope, full count now. There's a clean single up the middle, and that brings up Pete Castiglione, and it's always a problem with these Pirates. They remind me a lot of the Giants. Everybody can hit. And there is a passed ball that's by Mueller. Is that Ray? Is that his first name? Let me look that up. Yep, Ray Mueller lets that one get past him. And that moves Kiner up to second base, and that is going to be a problem. Castiglione hits one off the trademark right to Wierostek in left field for the first out. And here comes Clyde McCulloch with a chance to do something here. There's one high, 1-0 the count on Clyde. There's a changeup for a strike, 1-1 now. And that's off the plate, but there was a check swing. It was a base hit, and they check on that one. And then he loops one right into center field for a base hit, and Kiner's going to run home with it. We are going to throw home. We are not going to cut it to second base. The throw's off the mark. Kiner would have beat it anyway, and unfortunately for us, for the Reds, that is, it's a 2-1 game now, and there's still only one out with a runner on second base for Pittsburgh. And this is what's happened. And I tell you, if you've been watching this replay, you have seen this happen with the Pirates time and time again. They end up behind, and what they do is they figure out a way to rally, and they just sort of peck you to death with these things. A little base hit there, base hit there, base hit here, base hit there, and then they end up getting a big blast, and the next thing you know, you're behind. Pascal takes a strike, and there's another strike on him. 0-2 now the count on him, 1-2 now. And there's a high fastball, and it's 2-2. 2-2 the count on Pascal, and he hits one deep to right field, and Litweiler is just able to get that right by the fence. Michalek is able to move over to third base, and here comes Eddie Bachman. 2 outs now, runner on third. And there's one foul down to the right, out of play. 0-1 the count. 1-1 now the count on Bachman, and that one's fouled out of play again. 1-2. He holds up on that. 2-2 now the count. That's inside. Full count now on Eddie. And Eddie is able to lay off of that one, so he gets the walk after being down 1-2 in the count. That brings up Johnny Hopp now, runners on first and third. Hopp looks at a ball, 1-0 the count. Now there's another ball, 2-0. And there's a fastball inside, 3-0 the count now. And Vandermeer gets the borderline strike and then walks him anyway. So Vandermeer here is walking the bases loaded here. Walks 2 men in a row here in the top of the fourth inning, in an inning that feels like it's going to take forever. What did I say? You know, maybe we'll have one of those quick games where it will just be really smooth and everything will work out right, huh? That never seems to happen, does it? I've played a lot of games with Diamond Mine Baseball. It never is that quick. It's never that smooth. It's never that easy. There's always something going on. Vandermeer misses again to Rip Sewell, misses again. 2-0 now the count. Johnny throws. There's a ground ball over to Bloodworth, makes the play at first base for the out, and so it remains 2-1 Reds. Here's Grady Hatton to lead off the bottom of the fourth. Here's a ground ball over to Hopp, does it himself, 1 away. Here is Virgil Starcup, and he hits a ground ball to Castiglione, 2 away, just like that. And here's Wierostek, 1-0 now the count to him, and he hits a fly ball over to Junic in center field for the out, and that does it. We go to the top of the fifth inning just like that, and we're not giving Rip Sewell a whole lot to think about. Wally Junic now, and he takes a strike, 0-1 the count on him, and there's a fastball in tight that is called for a strike, 0-2 now, and there's a ground ball over to Kluszewski, who makes a good play on a ball that almost ate him up and makes the play himself, 1 away. Here's Westlake now, and there's a strike to him, 0-1 the count, and there's one fouled behind the plate, 0-2. And Vandermeer comes right at him and gets him with the strikeout, and that's the second out. Still 2-1 Reds, and here comes Ralph Kiner, and he takes a strike. 0-1 the pitch. Now it's 1-1. 1-1 the pitch to Kiner, and there's a ground ball over to third base. It's going to be Hatton who grabs that, throws to first for the out. Go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Ray Mueller up there takes a ball, and fouls one back. Only the 43rd pitch by Rip Sewell, and he hits a fly ball over to Kiner and left for the first out. Here's Lloyd Merriman. There's a strike on Merriman, and a hanging slider that's too high. 1-1 the count. Now it's 2-1 as that one was also out of the zone. Now 2-2 as there's a foul ball. There's a ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Merriman, and that brings up Johnny Vandermeer. We're going to bunt with him. The bunt's on, and that goes foul off to the left side. We're going to try it again, and that's bunted back to Sewell, and he throws over to Bascal covering at first base. Merriman moves up to second. It was a good bunt, and here's Jimmy Bloodworth. There's a ball into the dirt, and there's a foul back. 1-1 now the count on Bloodworth, and he pops that one up behind third base. It's out and into the seats. 1-2 now the count on him. There's a fly ball over to Junich in center field, and that does it. We go to the top of the sixth inning, still 2-1 Reds. Castiglione up there swings and misses. 0-1 the count on him. Now it's 1-1. And there's a fly ball over to Weirsteck in left field for the first out. And here comes Clyde McCulloch, and he takes a breaking pitch in there for a strike. And there's a foul ball. 0-2 now the count on McCulloch, and he takes a curveball that's just outside. There's another one outside. 2-2 the count. That's off the plate. 3-2. And Vandermeer having a hard time with his control. There's a foul ball, still a full count. And there is a fly ball over to Merriman, who commands everything there in center field for the second out. Here comes Monty Bascal, and there's a changeup that's too high. 1-0 now the count on Bascal, and there's a fastball with a little bit off of it. 1-1. That was tipped into Miller's glove. 1-2 now. And there's one fouled straight back, still 1-2 the count. And that's down. 2-2. Backdoor, but that's not open. 3-2 now, full count, and it's fouled away, still a full count. And there's a high fastball for ball 4, and that brings up Eddie Bachman. 2 outs, top of the sixth inning. And there's a ground ball over to shortstop. Stallcup flips over to Bloodworth for the out. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning, and this is exciting. 2-1 Reds. Here's Danny Litweiler takes a ball. And then there's a fly ball over to Junich in center field for the out, 1 away. And here's Kluszewski, and their big clue takes a strike. 0-1 the count on him. And there's a pop-up, and Bachman's got it at third base for the second out. And here's Grady Hatton, 2 outs, and there's a ball to him, 1-0 the count. There's a line drive over to Westlake in right field for a base hit. Here comes Virgil Starkup, runner on first base, and he takes a strike. 0-1 the count on Virgil. Hatton not doing anything, a little throw to first. And there's a pitch that's low, 1-1 the count now. And there's a swing and a miss on that one, 1-2. 1-2 the count remains, and there's a foul tip, and it's still 1-2. And there's a pop fly off of Stallcup's bat, off the end of the bat, and it's caught over there by the second baseman, Bascal. We go to the top of the seventh inning, still 2-1 Reds, and this is getting a little tense. And there's a little ground ball by Hop over to Kluszewski at first for the first out, and Rip Sewell's taken out of there for Ed Fitzgerald. Interesting choice. There's a swing and a miss for a strike, and there's one high. 1-1 the count now on Fitzgerald, and he takes another strike, 1-2, and there's a ground ball over to Kluszewski, who's unable to take that one back to his own bag, and that means that Fitzgerald is on first base with the infield hit, and that's where he's going to be with 1 out here in the top of the seventh inning. We are already to that point in this game. We are to that point where things are really, really interesting. And where just about every one of these plays is going to be dramatic. The Pirates come into this game, as I said before, 10-0, 10 straight victories, and we'll see if they can extend the streak or not. There's a ball over to Junich. They got away from Mueller for a second, but there was no advancement. Another ball, 2-0 now the count, as Vandermeer having a hard time with his control. It's 2-1 now. And Junich was... that one was... He was jammed on that one, 2-2, and there's a ball to him, 3-2 now. And Vandermeer gets back, and he gets the strikeout, and that's the second out of the inning. And here comes Wally Westlake. And there's a swing and a miss by Westlake, 0-1 the count. And there's a ball to Westlake, 1-1 now. And there's a curveball in there for a strike, 1-2. And there's one low, 2-2. And there's a breaking ball wide for the full count. And that one's bounced over to Kluszewski at first base, and he makes the play by himself, and that does it. So we go to the bottom of the seventh inning. Vic Lombardi comes in there, and just so that you're aware of this, I'm going to look at the box score quickly. Rip Sewell only threw 66 pitches, 46 of which were for strikes. He gave up only 5 hits, 1 walk, and that's it. He pitched extraordinarily well, and you've got to ask yourself why he was taken out of this game. I don't understand that at all. I was talking just the other day about a problem with, was it Dick Wyke of the Washington Senators, and this, I think, is even more egregious. This is another one that I should talk about. Maybe I will in another video. Johnny Weirsteck takes a strike, and then a ball, 1-1 the count. There's one of the knees, 1-2 now. And Lombardi pops him up, and it's Bascal who makes the first out. And here is Ray Mueller, and he takes a strike, 0-1, and fouls one off, 0-2 now. And there's a hanger that's too high. And That one's hit deep to right field, and Westlake's got it, no problem, 2 away. And here's Lloyd Merriman, and he hits it down to Castiglione, shortstop. He makes the play over to first base for the out. We go to the top of the 8th. Johnny Vandermeer's still in there, 113 pitches. Here's Ralph Kiner. This is dangerous. Ball 1 inside to Kiner, and there is a ground ball over to Stallcup, who makes the play, throws over to Kluszewski, and they stretch and just barely get Kiner at first. Here's Castiglione. There's a ball to him, 1-0 now, and it's 1-1 as he looks at a strike. And it's 2-1 as he looks at another ball. And there's a bouncer over the head of Kluszewski at first base. That really undresses him. Hit number 6 of the game for Pittsburgh. And here comes McCulloch, and this winning streak might stay alive. Still 2-1 Reds in this one. But you've got a feeling that something's going to happen here. I think everyone's got a feeling that something's going to happen. McCulloch comes up there. Castiglione got the hit. McCulloch comes up there. Let me change this note a little bit really quick. McCulloch comes up there now. He's 1 for 3 here so far in the game. And he's got a chance to really do something. Let's see if Johnny can get him. There's a strike to him, 0-1 the count, and there's a fastball that doesn't miss by much, 1-1. There's a ground ball over to Stallcup, and he makes the play to Bloodworth at second base for 1, and then McCulloch is just able to beat it out. We had a way out of that inning, and it just didn't happen, and here comes Monty Bascal. Now, having Monty Bascal come up is not exactly the end of the world. Right, we can definitely deal with having to pitch to him, but you would prefer it if you could be out of the inning as soon as you possibly can. And I am guessing that Bascal is going to continue to hit for himself. I'm looking at this. He's hitting 265 actually on the year. It's that real-life stat that doesn't look so great for him. And there's a ball to him, 1-0 now the count. Fastball swung on and missed, 1-1 now. And that misses for a ball, 2-1 now on Bascal. And there's a ground ball over to shortstop. Stallcup boots it, and he grabs it again, and he's able to go to Bloodworth in time for the force. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and this is a tense ball game, isn't it? This one is tense, and it gets only tenser from here on out. And man, that was definitely a tense moment in this game. And it was Bascal, that's right. Let me go ahead and change this name here. And all right, we have that saved. What's going on with this one? Okay, well, we have that. Sorry about this. I'm just sort of checking and making sure that I have screenshots that I will need later on for this, the way this game's going. And there's Vandermeer has a little pop-up to second base for the first out, and here's Bloodworth. Surprised that the fans weren't cheering for him because he's pitched really, really well. 2-0 now the count on Jimmy Bloodworth. And there's a ground ball that sneaks into center field, and that's hit number 6 for the Reds. And here comes Danny Litweiler, takes the ball and swings and misses. 1-1 the count now on him, and that one's hit over to center field, and that's soft enough to fall for a base hit in front of Junich. And we're going to hold Bloodworth at second, and we're going to be really conservative, especially with the big man Kluszewski up there. So 2 on, 1 out here, top of the 8th inning. Here comes Ted Kluszewski, takes a strike, 0-1 the count, spoils 1, 0-2. There's a ground ball over to Bascal. He flips it over to Castiglione at second, on to first base for the double play, and we go to the top of the 9th inning, and here is Eddie Bachman. Do or die time for the Pirates. He hits a ground ball over to Bloodworth for the first out, and there's 1 away. And here comes Johnny Hopp. He comes out for a pinch hitter who will be Ed Stevens. Ed Stevens is out there, fouls one back, 0-1 the count on Stevens. Vandermeer working on a complete game, 1-1 the count now, and there's one fouled out of play, 1-2. There's a ground ball over to Stallcup, and he has it at shortstop over to first base for the out, and that's the second out. Here's Vic Lombardi, who's going to come out for Dixie Walker. Dixie Walker, last chance for the Pirates, takes one high. And there's a little check swinger over to Bloodworth at second base, and he gets it, makes an excellent play on it, throws over to first base. The throw was wide, but Kluszewski's able to pull it in, and that is the out. And the Pirates have lost for the first time here in this 1949 replay, and they are at 10-1 now. They remain in first place, and that's because, as you saw earlier, the New York Giants also lost today, so they are 10-2. 10-1 though for the Pirates. This was an exciting game. This was a game that could have gone either way. There was a very strange pitching decision by the computer, but fortunately for the computer, that didn't really feature into the overall end of the overall result. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a upcoming video. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.